So here we are in the Sun Belt of Seattle, Washington at Elliott Bay Dental, checking out an old warehouse that was a commercial warehouse that we turned into a dental office. Let's go check it out. Today we're at Elliott Bay Dental, Doctors John and Misty Kim in Seattle, Washington, down by the waterfront. And as the crow flies, just a few miles away from Sweet Tooth Dental in the old house. This particular project is the polar opposite of working in an old house. This was an old warehouse, actually, that consisted of a loading dock that's 3 or 4 feet above grade in the parking lot. So there needed to be a ramp getting into the space for ADA codes and such. And then the building itself lent itself to doing some really fun things because of the fact that it was an old warehouse. We had a lot of volume of space to utilize. We had quite an interesting combination of requests from the doctors. It's a multidisciplinary practice, meaning that it's a husband and wife team that's a general dental practice. And then there's a specialty side where they bring in specialists 1 day a week, periodontist, endodontist, and so on. Trying to marry those two along with working within the building itself and the parameters that we were held to by just the way of the structure itself. So it was quite the challenge. This needed to be something fun and lively, just the area of town that it's in. It's a really eclectic part of town. There's a lot of changes that are going on. It's really being revitalized. This was an industrial area not too long ago. In fact, this building was an industrial building, but now it's being revitalized. And it just needed to be something fun and different. Well, we wanted to create sort of a vestibule feel without it being an actual vestibule with double doors and all of that. And the combination of angles and curves in this space, we just played with a lot of different shapes. And in this particular case, the two pieces of the puzzle, so to speak, if you were to take the two walls that we put an S shape or a curve on the ends of them, if you put them together, they would fit together like a puzzle piece. And it was just something a little bit different that would separate the entryway, which we couldn't move, to the front desk. And the front desk had to be shared with the other practice, which is on the other side of the building. So trying to figure out how to make that work was quite the challenge. Well, they wanted to keep the flavor and the funness, so to speak, of the warehouse feel. They wanted to keep all the concrete floors, even with all the blemishes and everything in it, just give that kind of loft feel. But they wanted also privacy and sound attenuation for all of their patients as they come in. They wanted individual rooms versus an open operatory system, which most dentists do today. They wanted to give their patients more of a private feel. So we didn't want it to feel like a big long bowling alley of a space with, almost like the factory kind of feel or assembly line. So what we did was we angled some walls and we curved some walls and we tilted the wall. So just to give it a lot of interest and fun. And anytime we can do stuff like that, it makes people stop and look and notice other things, which then in turn takes their mind off of why they're there or why they're here. They're not thinking about what the doctors are going to do. A lot of people have anxiety about coming to the dentist, so we want to do things that make them calm down and not think about what the doctors are going to do when they get back into the rooms. Well, it's critical because one, there's a lot of codes and things that are going on with HIPAA and so forth. You don't want to hear conversations going on between operatories, and you don't want a real loud, vibrant type of place like a Starbucks or something like that in a place where there's already anxiety. That just amps people up. So we try to mitigate the sound and make it a calm, soothing place to come, even though it's still lively and fun. You don't want it to be something that's going to make people get amped up. So this is a case where we got to have a little bit of fun. You'll notice in some of the design details where we used angles that are asymmetrical. In the beverage center here, we built the frame to have an asymmetrical angle to it. And then along with the curves and the angled soffits, they're just a fun way to help with sound attenuation and give the place a lot of interest.